In this video, we will modify the PGM file that we wrote in the previous section so that we can add visibility to the access window of the general controller. So if I click on the Edit PGM button, it will open that file for us that we wrote before. And you can see we are measuring the autoclave temperature by getting the temperature in P007, and then we're setting reaction 2 in the autoclave with a value of cobalt. But we cannot see those values in the access window. So how do we display them? There is a very simple way to display them. When you declare a variable, if you want to see that variable in the access window, and you can see it as a calculated variable, so in other words on a grey background, if you just put the simple @ sign behind the variable, as I shall do with these two variables, and then if we save that, if we go back into SysCAD, you will see we can now see cobalt and autoclave temperature on the access window with grey backgrounds because we cannot change them. Those are calculated values. So this is a first step that makes that access window look good. At least now we can see what the values that we are working with are. However, that is not showing you what units those variables are in, and we can display that on the window as well. So if I go back into my PGM file, and you see cobalt is a fractional extent. That's the fractional extent that we are going to set that reaction to. And if you look in the hints and the template for the PGM, you will see there's a section where it helps you and it shows you if you want to display units in your access window. These are a template for showing you how you could do it. And here's one for fraction. The word you use is frac, and here's an example of how you do it. Frac in quotation marks with a comma and then percent. So that's what we're going to use to show our cobalt extent as a fraction. So open brackets, open quotation marks, and then the word is frac. Close your quotation marks, a comma, and this is going to be as percent, and close the brackets. If I save that, you'll see if I go into SysCAD and I've reloaded, you can see cobalt is now shown as a percent. And we can do the same thing for autoclave T, which is a temperature. Again, if I go and I have a look at that template, I can see temperature, T, and here's your example, T and C. So I can change after the @ sign, open brackets, open quotations, T, close quotations, and we are measuring it in Celsius, and close the brackets. You must make sure that if you're going to declare a variable with units, the units that you declare it with are the same units that you either measure it with. In our case, autoclave T, we measure it in degrees Celsius, so we declare it with degrees Celsius, and the cobalt, the fraction, we calculate it as percent, and we're declaring it with percent. I save, go back into SysCAD, and you'll now see autoclave T is shown as C. If you want to use a conversion unit that's not shown in the PGM template, you can go to View, Project, and on the Conversions page, all the conversions are displayed here. And you can see fraction, the one that we use, frac, and percent. And these are all in alphabetical order. So if I wanted to have a look and see how I display mass flow, I'll go down to mass, in mass flow, there we are, it would be QM, capital Q, small m, and this is case sensitive, and these are all the different mass flows we could use. In our next exercise, we will look at changing our hardwired values of 90 and 0.012 to values that the user can input.